human I can depend on to bring me happy. Thank you.
Welcome to A Captain's Log, your exclusive Star Trek source for the latest news and interviews. Lili Fox-Lim here, he's BK, aka Bryan Kreutz, and you're in for a treat, Bryan. Today we have a story that's, well, a roller coaster of a true Trekkie pipe dream that blossomed into a seemingly inconceivable flight of fancy that did come true for this real-life Trekkie named Bonnie Gordon.
Oh, yes. From glamorous Trekkie fan to empowered woman, Bonnie Gordon has been riding a wave of so many success stories in Hollywood's top sci-fi franchise known as Star Trek.
How does the voice of the USS Protostar on Star Trek Prodigy sound?
Well,
Wait. When you ask the ship's computer for analysis, that's Bonnie Gordon behind the voice.
I love it. Bonnie Gordon is also the Bernari ensign in Gold Federation dress uniform opposite Kate Mulgrew's Captain Janeway. And Star Trek Prodigy is this voice for Bonnie Gordon.
Well, I love Vulcans, but their close ancestors, the Romulans, also have a very secret police intelligence agency known as the Tal Shiar. What if I were to tell you one voice of many behind Star Trek Prodigy's Tal Shiar strike team attempting to overtake the USS Protostar under orders from Commander Kasseth in Season 1 was voiced by... Bonnie Gordon!
Lili, Bonnie has voiced so many additional Federation officer roles in our favorite kid-focused Trek animated series, Star Trek Prodigy, and the new very short Treks animated series. She was also a member of the closing cast of Star Trek The Experience in Las Vegas.
And Bonnie Gordon recently joined J.G. Hertzler's favorite Star Trek band, the Roddenberries, in Philadelphia for the live album release and holiday extravaganza party at City Winery in December 2023. BK, we've been blessed to have just a tiny piece of the galaxy's pie and sharing the Star Trek universe's finite details of success stories in the careers of Mary Chieffo, Rachel Ansherrill, Carrie Foster, and we're primed for propulsion at warp speed to welcome Bonnie Gordon to A Captain's Log this week as a part of this group of empowered, extraordinary women.
Yes, indeed. Bonnie is just the person to embody a strong and beautiful voice for women in the Star Trek universe. Now, Bonnie continues a legendary Roddenberry Star Trek legacy by further continuing the late Majel Barrett Roddenberry's legacy as the Federation ship's computer voice.
You're right. I am. Computer, engage Protostar.
Urgently.
Something's happening.
Engaging Proto-Wars in 3,
Ready.
2. You made your choice, Father. Now I've made mine. 1.
Grid stop.
Engage.
Now, Bonnie is also a part of the voice cast for Mega Man franchise, that's Mega Man 11 to be exact, and other video game voices from Code Vein to Fire Emblem 3 Houses to 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Ooh. And one of our favorites, Lili, Street Fighter 5.
BK, we have so many amazing career highlights for Bonnie Gordon to set up and talk to Bonnie about. We're going to need a warp factor 9 capable vessel to speed through the Star Trek news this week. We have a 2-parter episode coming up, and everyone knows ships can't warp speed for too long, so BK, let's make this a quick one.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. Now, proving that time flies when you're having fun with Lili, or when traveling at warp speed, we're already in our 4th season of A Captain's Log, and we hope we're just getting started.
In just a few minutes, we're going to get a very special guest, Star Trek Prodigy voice actress Bonnie Gordon, on comms to begin a 2-part interview. But first, we have a few news items to report.
We do indeed. Unfortunately, we have a couple sad reports to start. We were saddened to learn that our friend Gary Graham has passed away on January 22nd at the age of 73. Now, Gary was our interview guest here on A Captain's Log way back in Season 1, Episode 9, and it was a great pleasure to have him on the show. He's best known to Star Trek fans for playing Ambassador Saval in 12 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise. He also played Tanis in one episode of Star Trek Voyager and appeared in dozens of TV series, including The Incredible Hulk, Knox Landing, Chip's Patrol, one of my favorites, and The Dukes of Hazzard. In addition, Graham appeared in several theatrical movies, including the 1983 high school football drama All the Right Moves, playing Tom Cruise's brother, Gary. He will be missed.
Have a peek at our interview in Season 1 with Gary Graham. Now, this is footage that was originally cut for time.
Tom Cruise, man, that guy was, he was so into it. The thing I love about him, the way he works, he gets so into it. He was into playing this football player. He's just out there taking hits and delivering like they're going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, every time he didn't hold back. He just, and I just love it. And Tom regarded me as his brother. I was his older brother, and I was Greg, and that was it. And that's how he treated me on set and off set. And we just got along great. A lot of guys, they get there on location, they go to park, shooting's done, let's go drink some beer. He was all about the job, all about the work. Just his focus level is just unbelievable. And he's very generous. You get good actors, you just show up, and you're just there. And a good director will just let you go and just, know where to capture your little moments and all that. And that's what that movie was all about to me.
We also lost Star Trek Discovery actor Kenneth Mitchell on February 24th at the age of 49. He was diagnosed with ALS 4 years ago. Mitchell appeared in 10 episodes of Discovery, playing various Klingon roles, and was a good friend to our friend Mary Chieffo. He also voiced multiple characters in one episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. But speaking of voice acting, let's set our sights on the positive as we have a special interview with a voice actor next.
A Captain's Log returns in a moment.
Welcome back to A Captain's Log. Bonnie Gordon is a name you'll begin to hear more and more, as this on-screen and off-screen actress is a force of fearsome energy and a powerful voiceover actor in dozens of animated TV, films, and so many more video games.
Yes, it became apparent that loving a Star Trek fan in the life of a fan fueled Bonnie Gordon into pushing her way into the real Star Trek universe as multiple characters in Star Trek Prodigy and previously the wonderful Star Trek The Experience in Las Vegas.
Ooh, Las Vegas. Let's welcome Bonnie Gordon to our quadrant of the galaxy here on Star Trek's only broadcast TV talk show. Welcome to A Captain's Log.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everybody.
Bonnie, prior to joining Star Trek Prodigy, you had accumulated dozens of voices and acting credits for more than a decade. What are some of your favorites? What were your beginnings and motivations for you to pursue a career in voice acting?
Oh, good question. So my journey into voiceover acting is a little different from most. I come from a theater background, a music and theater background. And when I first moved out to LA, it took me a very short time to realize you cannot make a living doing theater in Los Angeles. Go figure. But I still was doing it, and I got cast in a 1920s radio play out here it's recorded in front of a live audience, and it's called Tales of the Extraordinary. It's a super fun show, and all the actors in that show are voiceover actors, and they were the ones that kind of gave me the push to kind of pursue it as a career. Some of my favorite, I love playing like over the top, wacky, characters. As most people from here know me as a computer, which is very not over the top, obviously. But let's see, my favorite character from Tales of the Extraordinary was the mother of the lead of the detective explorer. And one of my favorite lines, because it's kind of Star Trek related, is, "Oh, Deke, I've made you your favorite, Earl Grey, tepid." And I just always loved that line and that character. But no, I love playing big, over-the-top, fun voices, because when it comes to screen acting, a lot of what you do is based on how you look. And when it comes to voice acting, they don't care what you look like. I can play a 90-year-old lady, or like a little kid way up here. So I can play all these different parts and no one will ever even know what I look like. And I love that because it gives me so much freedom to play so many different types of characters.
Bonnie, please talk about this ABC Network reality show you did multiple episodes in called Quest. It's a TV series set in a fantasy realm complete with characters and creatures that would be perfectly at home in any fantasy tale adventure, and you were a part of it in 2014.
Okay, so what the Quest was, this was back in, again, 2014. Well, you've done your research. So there was this reality show where they took 12 nerds across the country, flew us to Europe, put us up in a castle in Austria, and then we lived there for a month competing in like a reality show to be the one true hero to save the realm. So we were completely immersed in this fantasy world that they created. All of the actors were pretty much in character 24/7 that we encountered. They took, we didn't have actual like running water or toilets or, real bathrooms in this castle because it was like an actual castle and they didn't have indoor plumbing back then. So that was fun. But they took all of our real clothes. They let us keep our underwear and bra items and like our toothbrush, makeup, hairbrush, deodorant, medication, stuff like that they let us keep, but everything else they took away from us, and we had to just live in this immersive fantasy world. And so every episode there was a new challenge, just like any other reality show, but it had something to do with the plot. Like, for example, we're all sitting around having dinner, and then the queen takes a sip of her wine and starts to get ill, and we realize it's been poisoned. So the challenge for that episode is we had to go out into the woods to this like evil hag's hut and gather ingredients to make an antidote to save the queen. And every episode, there'd be a challenge. The bottom 3 were sent to face the three fates of Everrealm. This, again, I'm going into the plot of this where everyone listening is going, what the hell? The three fates of Everrealm. And then the bottom 3 had to compete, and whoever won that challenge, the fates challenge, was saved from banishment. But then the other 2 had to be voted upon by the other paladins, is what we were called. The contestants were called paladins. It was the most amazing show. Look, I think it's still on Amazon Prime. They rebooted it recently around COVID on Disney Plus with contestants ages 13 through 16. I'm a little biased. I think ours is better because it was adults fully immersing themselves in a fantasy world. And because it's like the first show of its kind, I really think ours was super special. It was shot so beautifully. It was the producers of Lord of the Rings. I mean, it was shot gorgeously. It was a collaboration between Amazing Race and Lord of the Rings. So it was the best of both worlds, fantasy, storytelling, and reality TV competition. So it was, if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it, especially once you get into a few episodes and we kind of figure out how the world works and our place in it. It was an incredible experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But yeah, I got to live in a castle in Austria for a month. There are 10 episodes. I won't tell you how many I'm on, but I did fairly well. And I think I got what they call in the industry the sweetheart edit, meaning I was the they edited me very nicely. I tried to stay very true to myself and very, like having the heart of a hero. I knew I was the least physically fit out of all of the contestants. But I knew if I like kind of stayed true to myself, it'd be like, okay, like that little kid watching who gets picked last in PE, like if they see me running, even though I'm a mile behind everyone else, like if they see me trying, maybe it'll give them hope that they too can become a hero. So I was kind of like the Hobbit of the group in that sense. I was definitely not up to par when it came, I was going up against like MMA fighters and like, guys who do CrossFit and who run track professionally. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I was just like looking around at all the other contestants going, are you kidding me? I can't even lift what we're lifting, let alone like compete with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had a sword and a shield. And I was so weak. I had to use 2 hands to wield a sword and I couldn't have a shield. So yeah, it's wild. We'd wake up every morning and do sword fighting exercises, and I mean, it was crazy.
Combat training. We're no strangers to such activities here on this ship.
Absolutely, Lili.
Welcome to a captain's log.
You fought valiantly, Lili. Hopefully, we can edit out me getting bested by you.
Hopefully not. But speaking of editing, Bonnie, tell us how the producers chose to edit the contestants to show them in a certain light.
I snort when I laugh. They cut a lot of that out. There was no snort laughing. So there wasn't any like, I was very glad that there was no snort laughs. And I fall a lot in the show. Not in the show, but while shooting, I would fall a lot because I'm super clumsy, and we'd be running through the woods, being chased by literal ogres, like people in giant animatronic, ogre outfits. It was wild. So I would fall quite a bit, and they edited most of them out. I think they kept like 2 or 3 in when I fall. You can catch me falling in some parts. If you're fans of fantasy, if you hate reality TV, give it a chance anyway. It's not like others. It wasn't about, there wasn't any, there's a little bit of backstabbing or drama, whatever. But for the most part, it was all of us working together, trying to save the realm. It was all about being a hero. And so it was a little different from other reality shows because we kind of lifted each other up a lot. Sure, there was a lot of behind the scenes drama and stuff. We don't have to go into that. But I do love that it was edited in a way and shown in a way that showed the best in a lot of the contestants, to show that we were all there for the right reasons and why we were chosen for the quest.
I remember reading about the London RPG tabletop game Star Trek Adventures from Modifius Entertainment, as your Star Trek fan status and official place in Trek is increasing at this point in your career. Tell us about this experience. As you were clearly a fan of Trek, tell us about being able to play as any crew or your favorite Trek in the RPG Star Trek Adventures.
Well, with Star Trek Adventures, my relationship with that game is actually really special. There's an online nerd channel that was very popular a few years back called Geek and Sundry. And it's where Critical Role, if any D&D fans are out there, Critical Role got its start on Geek and Sundry. And they had a whole bunch of other shows as well. And one of the shows was called Shield of Tomorrow. And it was a Star Trek TTRPG show using Star Trek Adventures. And I got to create my own character, and we went on for quite a few seasons. They're all up on YouTube. Every episode is, I think, at least 3 to 4 hours long. So it's a long trek, pardon my pun. But it's 100% worth it. The story was so amazing. Kudos and shout out to our game master, Eric Campbell, who created an incredible adventure for us. But Shield of Tomorrow, I played a character called Ensign Lark Sage. She was a Bajoran, but had never really known her people or really, this takes place kind of when the Maquis is happening and all that. She was found when she was 2 years old in a shipping crate on a cargo ship, and was adopted by a couple in Starfleet on first contact day. It was very diplomatic of them, look at us adopting this baby, and was told her entire life that her parents were dead. And then she later finds out that they are alive and part of the Maquis. And she was like a computer genius. You know who my character Ensign Lark Sage reminded me of? In fact, when Discovery came out, everyone wrote me and tagged me in every post because they were like, oh my gosh, it's Lark Sage, but not Bajoran. Ensign Tilly. It was very
Tilly,
much
yeah.
Lark Sage. So Lark Sage was very quirky and kind of awkward and didn't have a filter, but also very in a sense like a genius. And I think Tilly has that energy where she's a little frantic and weird, but at the same time super smart, and you don't want to mess with her. And that was basically Lark Sage, to where she was an engineering genius but went a different route and decided to take the track of working the helm, and was an amazing helmsman, could get through an asteroid field like crazy. However, she kept her engineering genius a little bit hidden, because that's what she would use. She hacked into Starfleet security. But she did a lot of things. I don't want to give too much away, but she was an amazing character. And her drink of choice, you know how everyone has like the Earl Grey hot. Deanna Troi had her hot chocolate. In Quarks, you have root beer. You know, you have always the drinks of choice. Roctagino. Lark Sage's drink of choice was cream soda. And my God, for years at conventions, fans were so wonderful. They would bring me cases of cream soda. And yeah, I'll drink cream soda on occasion, but it got to the point where I had to be like, everybody stop. Because I'd get like a case of like 20 cans of cream soda, and I'm only at this convention for like 2.5, 3 days. So it's sitting in my hotel room, and I'm like, I don't want it to go to waste, but I'm also like overdosing on sugar. And so, yeah, but it was so fun to play. Star Trek Adventures is an incredible game. And they've been, Modifius, the company, has been so great to us. Also, after that, during COVID, we had on the Streampunks, we had our Streampunks start a channel on Twitch. And we did a show called Clear Skies, and it was a lot of the same cast from Shield of Tomorrow. And I played the chief medical officer, and it was a Cation doctor. But the problem with that was, Dr. Lacrell, I think her name was Dr. Lacrell. But the problem with that is this is before Lower Decks came out. And then Lower Decks came out, and all of a sudden they have a Cation doctor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like everything I create, I must be psychic. I'm like foreshadowing what they have planned in the future of Star Trek.
Speaking of foreseeing the future, I foresee a break in the show coming up.
Oh, that's right, BK. It's too bad you couldn't foresee which Klingon warrior moves I used on you earlier in the show. Well, we hope you're enjoying the great insight of Prodigy actress Bonnie Gordon as much as we are. And don't go away yet, because she'll be back with more to talk about us after these words from our stations.
A captain's log returns in a moment.
Hey, welcome back to A Captain's Log. We're your hosts, Bryan Kreutz and Lili Fox-Lim. We're joined by actress and all-around entertainer Bonnie Gordon, who you probably know best as the ship's computer voice of the USS Protostar on the Netflix series Star Trek Prodigy.
Now, Bonnie, you're continuing the legacy of Star Trek's most famous ship's computer in the late, great Majel Barrett Roddenberry as the USS Protostar computer voice. Tell us the feeling you have stepping into the sound booth knowing your voice is loved by both of us and millions of Star Trek fans worldwide watching the animated series and hearing your delivery.
Absolutely. My computer voice is very different from Majel Barrett's. It was, and then initially I was asking if they wanted me to mimic hers, and they said no. They wanted it something completely different. My computer voice, first off, Majel Barrett, I'm just such a admirer of hers and her career and just her as a person. I wish I had the opportunity to meet her before she passed. Sadly, I never got to, but I mean, just every role she's played, I'm a huge fan of Mama Troi. She's one of my favorite characters, and according to many sources, that was basically just her. You know, they just wrote that character for her. So someone who is so big and brassy and spoke her mind and like bright, colorful. I really, what's the word I'm looking for? I really connect with that. So when people say that, either I remind them of Majel Barrett or, I'm following in the footsteps of her legacy, it's such an honor because I'm not only just such a huge fan of hers as an actress, but as a person, from hearing all the things that she did to further, Gene's vision and the shows. Anyway, I'm digressing and rambling once more, of course. But when it came to my computer voice, we went with something a little softer, a little bit more, I don't want to use the word motherly because that's not quite what we were going for, but like the acknowledged, unable to comply, it's smooth, these are children on a ship in the middle of space where they have no concept of where they are, who they are, where they're going, and this ship becomes their home and they become a family, and the ship is in itself becomes kind of a character where they feel welcome, like it's where they feel safe. So it was the Hageman's goal to create a computer voice that with children hearing it too would kind of have a little bit of warmth to it, to where it wouldn't be like a scary computer. It's like, you know, unable to comply. Like it has like just that, it's not too harsh, it's not too robotic, has a little bit of warmth behind it. So that was kind of the goal. And now moving forward into season 2, I can say this, I'm the voice of all of Starfleet computers in Prodigy, or yeah, in Star Trek Prodigy. Woohoo! So I am in season 2 as computers, multiple, whatever ship we go on, that's where I'm gonna be. But I feel like I take a little bit of the warmth out, just a little, to make it slightly more computerized, because now it, you know, moving forward with season 2, they're not going to be on the Protostar. So now it loses a little bit of its homeness. Now it's a little bit unknown. So it's still the same voice, but I try and take a little bit of the warmth out, just a little bit. It might not even be enough to where people notice it. It's more just for myself, of giving myself something to do. I can't wait for people to see season 2, because I haven't even seen season 2, but I've gotten to obviously read it and be a part of the recordings for quite a few episodes. And when I say it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. I mean, Aaron Walke, the Hagemans, the whole team, really, Ben, the director, they've just knocked it out of the park with season 1. And season 2, they take it even further, to where you're like, how can this get better? And they do it, because now this whole journey of them getting to Starfleet, now they're there, now they're in Starfleet, now they can be like, okay, we got there, now it's actual Star Trek, you know. They're going full force. We get Picardo in season 2. Come on, we get the EMH.
Well, the cliffhanger has just become a way of life in TV shows, and now we leave you with one also. We hope you've enjoyed this interview with the Star Trek Prodigy actress Bonnie Gordon, that you'll come back to watch us in its conclusion. She'll be back on the next episode, and we hope that you join us. Until then, I'm Bryan Kreutz, along with Lili Fox-Lim. Thank you for watching A Captain's Log, and live long and prosper.
Hello, happy, my old friend. I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy.